Hello and welcome into another edition of State of the Sun Devils alongside Jesse Morrison and Damon Allred. I'm Jeremy Schnell. A 27-24 ASU victory after being down 17-0, guys. ASU comes back on a Friday night on a wet field and wins this ball game. What a performance from the Sun Devils. What a performance from the defense to keep them in this game. And that's where we want to start today. We want to start with how ASU's defense and pass rush in particular, causing turnovers, specifically on that Prince Dorba sack, and then obviously on the Adrian Wilson interception, and then to seal the game at the end of the game. What a play by ASU to seal the game there and get the interception, Damon.
Yeah, Martell Hughes came up big. Prince Dorba, 3 sacks. What a ridiculous performance from him, especially considering the start to the season that he had, where honestly, you kind of were expecting a little bit more from Prince Dorba, just given his experience. And so for him to finally break through, and in a start to a season where the pass rush is broken through overall, I mean, they were already ahead of last year's pace for sacks and tackles for loss after last year's non-con, or after this non-con. I mean, they look so good 2 games into conference play.
Yeah, I was just really impressed with what Boogie Wilson and Martell Hughes were able to do. Backups filling in for starters who are injured currently. To have 2 of the biggest plays of the game. That's what coaches and players like to preach. The next man up mentality, and ASU really showed that tonight on defense.
Yeah,
And they doubled
Ronnie Bimmage, too, stepped up and played a lot today,
big game
too.
for Rodney Bimmage. Mm-hmm. He was probable coming in. Mm-hmm. And just for them to have that, I think that game, I think it shows what they can do on like a weekly basis, really, if they get their stuff in order. And, yeah.
One thing that Jesse brings up a lot is that the defense that we saw in camp all throughout summer and into fall was really good. And we were very positive about what we were going to see from the defense. Today, that defense, I think, showed up.
Yeah, I think the defense is actually the strength of this team. I think it's a defensive first team. I remember asking CJ Fight that at Camp T, and he didn't love that question. But I do think that's the case. I think they are a really good defense. I think the coverage has gotten better, especially since Mississippi State. I thought Keith Abney, other than the penalty tonight, did a really good job.
Keith Abney's just straight up one of the best corners right now.
Yeah,
in football.
Yeah, Keith Abney.
And the stats show it, yeah.
Yeah, Keith Abney was really good. And then, yeah, that front with Prince Dorba getting in there now, like, he's the latest guy to make moves. And then early in the game, you saw Jordan Crook making plays, and he's made plays all season. So really strong defense that will probably carry them to great success this year.
And I think it works. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say, Damon. When it comes to the defense, they gave the offense time to get into the game. And it really, helped out in the end. If they had given up, they had a chance to give up more points in that first half. It could have been 24-0 in the first half. But, bend but don't break, I would say.
No doubt. And, I mean, just for ASU to double Josh Hoover's interception total coming into the game.
Insane.
He had 2 interceptions and 11 touchdowns before this game. He had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in this game. So just an incredible performance on that front. But also, we've mentioned the what we saw from the front throughout preseason camp and at Camp T and how disruptive they were. I think we asked Sam Levitt post-game if he's glad that he doesn't have to face this front, and he's talking about, I always tell him that they can never tackle me in practice anyway. So, I mean, just the sharpening iron of this team that we talked about preseason, and we're seeing it now play out in the season.
Damon, you mentioned Josh Hoover, and, I think that Sam Levitt tonight, he outplayed Josh Hoover.
The numbers showed that, of course.
Yeah, and Sam Levitt didn't play that well, I think.
No, I mean, come on.
Not in the red zone.
I mean, it's still 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 of 38.
Yeah, the numbers for Sam look a lot better, I think,
Pretty
sometimes
good rushing tonight too.
than the play on the field. The footwork that he has sometimes just concerns me.
That check down pass to Kanye Udo where he just didn't have his feet set,
And he threw that like 90 miles per hour to Kanye. It was really tough for Kanye to make that play.
Yeah, so I think sometimes, I think Sam has some work to do, but I do
And he knows
think,
that.
Yeah, but I
mean,
do
it's
think,
perfect timing that they're entering a bye right now, too.
Yeah, and I do think, though, that he showed, like, coming into this game, I'm like, man, Josh Hoover, he might look like a first-round pick.
Oh, you said NFL #1 at one point in the game.
Yeah, during the game.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, he looked...
He had a really good first half.
I mean, and there were throws that throughout the entire game that you're like, man, this guy is really good. But ASU's defense just did a nice job of, containing him and getting the turnovers. 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and the forced fumble. That's going to win you ball games.
Yeah, and Sam, again, he looked better
Yes.
than Josh Hoover. Like, he made the throws when it mattered. Josh Hoover didn't necessarily make the throws when it mattered.
Underrated play was the not deciding to throw down at the goal line when he tried to do the jump pass, and he's like, no, I'm gonna not throw an interception here because that could have been a turnover. ASU got points on that drive via a field goal. So I think Sam making the smarter plays now, Jesse and Damon, I think that's what we like to see. Not necessarily just deciding, okay, I'm going to tuck it and run it, or okay, I'm going to throw it because it's 3rd down and we need to try and get points here. That's a smart play, especially being down in the first half there.
No doubt. And, I mean, we really just can't overemphasize the way that this team is stacked with stars who are making star plays and star moments, whether it be Abney or, any of the linebackers on defense, any of the defensive linemen that have been having these star outputs. But Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson are guys that can will you to victory in these games.
Jordan Tyson, Jesse, I want to talk about him for a few minutes. 8 catches for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Sounds like Blitnikoff to me.
I don't doubt it. He's tied for the leading receiver in touchdowns in the country right now.
And he's well on his way to, as Chris Cartman mentioned in postgame, he's well on his way to beating the ASU all-time receiving touchdowns record.
Yeah, the ASU record for a single season is 14, according to Chris Cartman. And he's already at 7 this season, which is more than
halfway through.
Yeah, more than I even thought that he had. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, he was insane tonight. Again, there were some... Again, this goes back to Levitt not exactly having the best performance. There was one play that was... If he just thrown it a little bit lower, Tyson would have made that. And there was another play that it was good coverage, but Tyson probably could have caught it. So, he could have even had a better game. But
he was a little...
It was the play in the first quarter that was negated by holding.
Yeah.
So that was another big play.
There's another play in this end zone, actually, where Tyson was wide open, and he just saw him a little late, threw it a little late, and Tyson couldn't come down with it. The defender made it actually a really nice play there to knock it out of his hands. But yeah, Tyson had a great game again. Obviously, last week was a down week for him. He came back in a big way today.
Down week with a key touchdown.
Correct.
The game.
I mean, it just speaks to what a down week for Jordan Tyson is. It's still an up week for most receivers.
Yeah, he's great.
Jaron Hamilton with his first catch of the season.
Finally.
Very nice play. I mean, he got held on the play, played through the contact, was able to make a diving catch. Fantastic play. That's what ASC fans have been waiting for in Jaron Hamilton.
Now it's something that defenses have to respect when they see Hamilton come out.
Still a little bit concerned about who the number 2 is on this team.
It doesn't matter if Jordan Tyson's having games like he just said.
It doesn't matter if they keep winning.
It doesn't, but Derek Eusebio didn't necessarily have his best performance tonight. Jaron, you saw him get involved, which was great, so maybe he's the guy now. Malik McLean, still, it just doesn't seem like him and Sam can get on the same page.
They connected there in the second half.
They did, but it still really doesn't seem like they can get on a consistent page. So it'll be interesting to see if that true number 2 develops, because so far, not so good. But it was great to see Jaron Hamilton get that 42-yard catch. I mean, he showed off his speed on that play. I think he looks like a guy who is going to make plays eventually. I just think, the confidence has to get there, and you just got to put it all together.
Hines Ward mentioned this week that he's got to get better at the playbook, too. So that's another aspect. I mean, we've seen receivers go through this Hines Ward system a little bit now. I mean, Jordan Tyson is the prototype of it can kind of be a little bit tough under Hines Ward at the start. But once you figure out what he's looking for, and once you figure out how to kind of achieve that on a daily basis, because that is such a big part of it, I think that's when you see guys make that step.
Not a bad teacher to have as well in Hines Ward.
No.
Yep.
Let's talk about the running game for a second.
Austin Brown had some moments.
Yeah,
Allegedly back to full go. I don't think that we quite saw that as far as the touches go.
yeah. I mean,
I'd still like to see him involved a little bit more than Raleek Brown.
7 carries for 13 yards. Raleek,
Key rushes.
I mean, Raleek had the 35-yard carry, 21 rushes, 134 yards for Raleek, and I think he's the lead back right now.
Yeah,
it's obvious. I'm worried about Tyson a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've kind of fallen back into what we've seen with Sean Aguano and that running back room is, he ends up just relying on one guy every year. And that's kind of seeming like what's happening. But,
Specifically the past 2 weeks, maybe
Yeah,
3.
we're 5 games in.
Yeah, it
I
could.
don't want to make generalizations.
I'm not making a generalization. I'm just
And-
making, the trend is saying this at the moment.
Yeah, and I will say, maybe the bye week really helps out Tyson Brown.
Which, speaking of the bye week, that will be really key for a team that was missing 5 guys from its rotation.
Yes,
today.
absolutely,
I mean,
especially on defense.
You still consider they
And they played
left
really well.
so much on
Yeah.
the field. That defense played so well, and they still have guys that they can get back. They still have areas that they can clean up. I think that the arrow of the trajectory of this season for ASU is really pointed up, and I think that coming out of this bye week, as far as looking ahead a little bit to the next opponent, Utah, we've seen Devon Dampier struggle with pressure, and there's not many things ASU is doing better right now than pressuring quarterbacks.
But also not many harder places to play than
Yeah, of course.
up in Salt Lake
Which,
City.
speaking of which, Mountain America Stadium, an incredible
Yes,
environment.
absolutely. That we're burying the lead and not talking about how good the atmosphere was tonight.
That's
One of the
3
best
straight sellouts on both fronts, by the way, regular and student.
One of the best atmospheres I've ever seen at Mountain America Stadium. The crowd was so loud, especially when TCU had the ball. I think they really helped this team get back into the game.
Yes, I believe I've been to all but 2 home games since the start of the 2017 season. And tonight I felt like was the best atmosphere of all of them. And that's a really big shout out to the fans here. Because,
Even the Oregon game with the Ayuk and
yes, this was better.
Wow.
The fans were really good tonight. They were loud. The student section was awesome. And
on time, despite the weather.
yeah, they were
Fantastic.
Yeah, the crowd was mostly there. Like the student section was packed by kickoff. The crowd was pretty full by the time kickoff happened, and apparently the entering was kind of a mess tonight.
Yeah, gates opened around 5:20.
Yeah,
I think.
5:20 for a 6 p.m. game.
it was almost full. It's crazy.
Yeah,
What a great job by the staff here at
And
Mountain
the
America
grounds
Stadium
crew
too.
to be able
Yeah.
to keep this field in good
Yeah,
condition.
and they were.
Kenny shouted out the grounds crew as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything came together.
I felt like people today with all the weather that happened were going to be like, oh my gosh, can't make it tonight. Not going to risk it.
Don't want to drive in that.
Yeah, and they did.
I didn't want to,
but they did. And this is a big shout out to them because there's a lot going on. There was a lot going on in the Valley tonight. I mean, you had high school football all around that. I'm sure people had commitments to go to, and then you had the Mercury game, which looked like a great crowd, but you could have also done that. But people showed up for ASU football, and in a town with a lot of things going on, like usual, it was cool to see, those vibes tonight. That it felt like a big time college football atmosphere.
Yeah.
I thought Kenny put it really well when he said, I want people to be feeling like they missed out the next day if they didn't go to the ASU game, where we want people to be talking about, oh, did you see what happened in the game? I think that there's definitely going to be that kind of reaction to this team, considering the 2 wins that they've just gotten, where it's 27-24, a clutch field goal to win it, that type of thing. I mean, ASU's just really got this winning thing going right now.
I mean, maybe I should have been a little bit more optimistic about the crowd coming in. When I saw videos of people tailgating in a torrential downpour, that was wild. But
It's a different fan base than it was 5 years ago.
Shout out the fans for their passion. I wouldn't do that on my, I wouldn't tailgate in that type of rain, but, to each their own. That was fun to see at least.
Yeah. 53,774.
That's a sellout.
It's a sellout. Another great crowd. We don't know the time for the Utah game yet.
I would like to know the time.
I hope it's 9 a.m. Why not? Let's do it.
Noon?
Let's do it.
Big noon is
I think they learned their lesson.
Big noon is a potential thing for that day, but we don't know what else is going. I don't know what else is going on that day. I'd have to look for the schedule, but
I would think that ASU Texas Tech game would be maybe more prime ground for that.
Yeah.
That's one game at a time, as Kenny Dillingham would say. One day at a time, as he continues to
I
say.
mean, he's looking forward to not doing anything on the bye week. And
we will have a show though, no matter what.
On 98.7 for the first time this season.
Yes,
that's good stuff.
Yes, it should
At
be on
radio
we'll
in 2025.
Yeah, it'll be on 98.7 for the first time because unfortunately the D-backs
Snake
couldn't make the playoffs.
The Marlins did all they could to help him out. They really did.
I beat the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go on a very long rant about the D-backs.
We don't need that.
No,
But
this is State of the Sun Devils.
Fang for that with Alex Weiner.
Great coverage from Alex Weiner. He's down in San Diego right now, and I'm sure
feeling
the sadness from all the players around him. But that full 13 days off for ASU
will help.
That's going to help, but a really good Utah team that is coming off a loss against Texas Tech last week. Want to see they play tomorrow against West Virginia, a get-back game. We'll have to see
And then
how they play
have
tomorrow.
a bye while ASU has a bye, so both teams will be coming off a bye when they play each other.
After playing Morgantown, it's been a weird year for West Virginia.
What are you, Ray Anderson?
No, it is tough to play in No, I'm giving credit.
He's giving credit where credit is due to
I'm
Morgantown.
taking credit away like
No,
Ray Anderson.
No one wants to go to Morgantown. But,
I that's a tough place to play. So who knows? Probably good for ASU if Utah pulls out that game tomorrow. So
they don't have 2 weeks to spew on it.
Yeah,
is that the right word? Stew on it.
Yeah, they're not mad. They're not mad after 2 straight losses coming into the game at home against ASU.
All right. That's going to do it for this edition of State of the Sun Devils. Thank you so much for listening and watching. You can find us on all forms of social media at AZ Sports Devils. Damon did a great job tonight. You can find all his articles on the Arizona Sports app and arizonasports.com. For Damon Allred and Jesse Morrison, I'm Jeremy Schnell. Talk to you soon.